Hi everybody, welcome. Many of you have commented or asked questions about this situation with moving to New Zealand and being in this managed quarantine for the last couple of weeks. Well, the reason I was able to move to New Zealand, let me clear this question up first, is because I'm very fortunate in that I'm a New Zealand citizen. I did live here for 6 years, between 2006 and 2012. And during that time, I also started my YouTube channel. You can go back and see some of those very early videos. In fact, the first one, I think I had my head chopped off with the camera as I was standing in my back garden in Christchurch. So now, 2020, I had this strong soul pushing me, Pleiadians, whatever you want to call it, spirit. I got a real push for months, even before COVID, I have to say, to move from Greece and to move to New Zealand. Well, at first I didn't believe it. At first it was like, you've got to be kidding. It's comfortable here. It's beautiful in Greece. I've got friends. I've got family. I've got everything I could possibly wish for. And yet I was being told that I wasn't growing. I wasn't stretching. And I needed to get out of a rut. So many fears came up. Many things where I had to certainly cuddle both teddies many nights on the run. And eventually I took the plunge. I've already talked about this in a prior video. And I overcame the fears of the long flights on my own and the COVID pandemic and traveling during that pandemic and all those things. And then the minute you get off that plane, you are funneled, if you like, through, you give your name, you give your details, and then you are told where you're going to be staying. And I was told I would be staying in the Ridges Hotel in Auckland. And you are taken on a minibus. There were not many other people with me. And taken to this hotel, which literally is kind of barricaded in. It's got bars all around it. And the army boys come and open up the bars to be able to let in the new people coming in. You're then checked in one by one. You can't get off the bus until one person's checked in. You're disinfecting all the time. And then you're shown to your room. Well, in fact, you're not really shown to your room. You're given a key. You leave your bags, they bring them up to you, you find your room, you go up on your own in the lift because you're not allowed to go with anybody else. And you find your room. And they bring your bags up not long afterwards and they leave everything outside the door because nobody's allowed to come into your room. So you schlep your bags in, you drag it. I mean, I had, big bags. It's a big move, Greece to New Zealand. And there you are. You're just in this room. And you really can't do very much until you've got the result of your day 3 COVID test. There are 2 COVID tests, day 3 and now day 11. And you're confined to that room, whether you like it or not. It was a very dark room. I'm used to being in a lot of light, especially in Greece. The window opens about 1 inch, and I believe that is possibly so that you are not escaping, using sheets and towels to get out. And then you are left, thankfully, with internet. Thankfully, they feed you. And thankfully, the people on reception answer very quickly, 95% of the time. So for me at the very beginning, the heating didn't work. And again, they're not allowed in. So the only way to solve it was, number one, I always, wherever I go, I bring my own fan heater. I've learned. So I had one fan heater of my own, but no adapters. But they did bring me adapters and they brought me 2 more fan heaters. So it was nice and toasty warm, I have to say. As far as the cleanliness of the room is concerned, well, it was a little bit to be desired. And I've already reported that in another video. And I was not allowed a vacuum cleaner for the first 5 days until I got the negative result of the first COVID. After that, you're allowed a vacuum cleaner. So until that time, I asked them for a big roll of that thick sellotape. And I went through every single inch of that dark brown carpet with that sellotape going round it, picking up hairs, picking up whatever there was on it to the best of my ability. I have to say they were brilliant with towels, with extra supplies, with shampoo. Food was, how can I say, it was quite good. For the first week, it was very good. And after that, it tailed off and I was really quite hungry on several days where I would maybe just get a couple of carrots and a courgette because I'm on a very restricted diet. I only eat very plain steamed vegetables and just very plain food. I can't have anything that's got salt or condiments in it. It's just very light, shall we say. So anything that you order in, and I did order 1 lot through the supermarket, they vet it completely. So they take it all out. They check that it is see-through. As long as they can see what's there, then they allow it to come up to your room. I have to say that it's a frightening experience. Yeah, it's a spiritual experience because you are facing whatever fears come up about fears of being sick and not being able to get out of there, of being transferred maybe to another quarantine facility, not being able to go outside, and there were scheduled walks from time to time, but you couldn't book consecutive days, or you had to go on a waiting list if you were lucky enough to get a consecutive day. And then when you did go for a walk, the walks were very supervised. There were about 10 of you at the most on a very big bus. Disinfecting, masks, walking up and down and up and down. And it was in many ways like being in an army camp. There's all these barriers. You could go to this small area outside reception, with permission, of course. And sometimes I would lean on those barriers just to stretch a little. Of course, I got in trouble for that, you know, not allowed to lean on the barriers. Okay. So, but the main experience, the main feeling that I have, even though it was unpleasant, even though it was frightening, the overriding experience, the overriding emotion that I have, despite the COVIDs and the up-your-nose tests and all of that, is a feeling that every single person did their utmost to make it as comfortable and as friendly and as kind as possible. And that is the memory that I leave with, that even on the toughest of days, the people on reception, the people who rang me from the restaurant, the housekeeping crew, the army boys, the policemen, the security, the aviation security, every single person was kind, was gentle, was attentive in these difficult circumstances. I mean, can't be pleasant for them to work constantly with masks, constantly dealing with people who are not really happy to be there, with little children who want to run around. It's a difficult situation. But despite those difficulties, my experience was that the nurses, the medical staff, every single person worked together as a team to help. And things did go wrong, and things were difficult at times. Yes. And those I've reported in previous videos. But I really have to say that despite the comments that people have made about it's the cabal and Jacinda Ardern is part of the cabal and that, you know, we are being puppets, to the best of the ability of this particular government, by trial and error, they are doing the best they can. But the kindness of the people is what shines through. And if it's taken a crisis like this, and it's ongoing, there are over 62,000 people who've already been through this managed isolation. I just wanted to now, in retrospect, while it's still fresh in my heart and my emotions, to share with you the everlasting feeling and memory that I have from this experience. So if you've comments, questions, please don't hesitate to post. I want to thank so many of you wonderful, wonderful Kiwis. Daniel, who gave me this beautiful pukamo, this tawanga that goes with me everywhere now. To Mary for bringing me flowers, taking care of me, and strawberries. To Dalwina and Anna for sending me the most enormous care package. And for so many of you who've reached out, offered your homes to me, a bed for the night, and many, many generosity of spirit that I've experienced here. And for those of you overseas, far away, who've sent good wishes, who've good thoughts, prayers, I'm just so deeply grateful for all of you. And I hope that now that I am free to explore, that you will join me on some of these adventures, because it's still a little frightening and exciting. I've got this rather blank, little sparsely furnished hotel room for the next 5 more nights. And after that, I don't know where I'm going. I'm trusting that I'm being guided. I love to have my ducks in a row. I do not like not knowing where I'm going, but I think we are living in a time of not knowing where we're going, or a more stark realization of not knowing where we're going. And the one thing that keeps us going is the kindness and the gentleness and the heart connection that we can begin to establish with one another. That's certainly what's been helping me here. So thank you for all of you supporting me on this journey. I hope you feel that I support you with having courage, with being brave, with stepping through all the things that would stop you from trusting to what your soul guidance, what your guides are saying to you, what your intuition, what your gut is saying to you. And that you'll ride through those fears and join me and know that you'll feel better and stronger as you keep riding through them. So from me, Teddy's, much, much, much love to you. Thank you for listening, and bye for now.